Hi everybody, Dr. Joe here, licensed physical therapist, performance trainer, and Titleist Performance Institute certified fitness and medical professional. What I want to talk about today are the top exercises to increase club head speed and hit the ball farther. But there's a little bit of a caveat here, because we have to understand how to apply the exercise, not just what the exercise is. What I mean by that is if I have one person perform the exercise and they understand the intent and the focus and how to apply the forces, they're going to get tremendous benefit. If I have someone else do it and they don't understand any of that, they're going to get little to nothing out of it. So before we talk about the exercises themselves, I want to look at the golf swing real quick. So pay attention to my feet, right? If I go through a golf swing, my feet don't move a whole lot because there's friction on the ground. But what I've found is it really helps to understand ground reaction forces if you remove the friction. So what would our feet do if it didn't have the friction keeping it from moving? So what you'll do is you'll take off one shoe at a time. You can do this on a wood floor, something slippery, or if you're on carpet, you can put your foot on like a furniture slider to get the feedback. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to go through the sling, and then as I start my downswing, I'm going to just go normal. And what happens is my foot shoots out and forward. Right? So I'm not trying to push it out that way. I'm making my regular swing, but the lack of friction pushes my foot that way because of how I drive in the downswing. That's really important to know because when you do something like a medicine ball throw, you've got to think about how your foot applies that force to the ground. And then we can switch sides and look at what happens to the trail leg. So same concept. We're just going to take a regular swing. And what happens is my foot goes back and out. Again, I took the friction out so my foot moved this way. So when we swing the golf club, the ground reaction force when we're starting the downswing has these two opposing motions. This foot's out that way, this foot's out that way. When friction is in play, it flips our hips, and that's what creates that ground reaction force, begins that rotation cascade, and allows us to generate maximum club head speed. So keep that in mind, and we'll talk about it again during the exercises so you can apply it properly. The first exercise we're going to talk about is a rotation medicine ball throw. Again, think back to the swing as we go through a few coaching points. The first, I like position hands low so that when we come through, we're throwing here. Why? It's just more similar to the golf swing, right? We come through on our contact point, our hands are down here. That's going to look a lot more like the golf swing than doing something like this. Second, we want to think about what happens to our feet if there isn't friction, and that's how we're going to torque the ground. So this leg would shoot out forward, this leg would shoot out backward. Like we're trying to rip the carpet apart by spreading it in opposite directions. And third is to stay behind this trail leg. So as we come through, we want to get some type of bump forward, but then the hip's going to go back. We're going to keep our shoulders and head behind that lead foot instead of going here. So let's take a look at what it looks like in full speed. Again, common mistakes I see. One, we rip through with our arms and body. We drive the motion from here instead of torquing the ground. Or we lean way forward this way. We're leaning over that leg instead of driving back this way and finishing here. So that's the medicine ball rotation throw. And those are the mechanics and the intent we want to make it as effective as it can be. The next exercise I want to look at really fits better for higher level players. The first exercise we talked about the ground reaction force. What happens sometimes as players get to a higher level is they actually get their hips so far in front, everything else the legs behind, and they'll get these inconsistent shots where sometimes it's a push or their upper body will speed up too much and they'll roll their legs. So they actually need to speed their upper body up relative to their lower body. Again, this is why it's helpful to work with a coach because you can see these things and see if that's something you need to work on. In that case, what I'm going to do is take some of the leg out of the equation so I can get used to speeding it up from here. So if I want to get a little bit of lower body action, but not a ton, I go into a half kneeling position. Again, because I'm here, I've got to focus through basically waist and up to generate force. So I'm learning to speed up my upper body, taking my lower body out of the equation. We can also drop to 2 legs and do it here. This really takes any ability of the lower body to help out of it because your knees are on the ground. However, you should notice that you get a little bit of maybe even rug burn on your knees if you're on turf because you're still going to get that torque from the way you flip your hips. So that's the kneeling medicine ball rotation throw and the half kneeling medicine ball rotation throw. Again, those are more to speed up the upper body. The last exercise we're going to talk about is a rotation box jump. So let me show you what it looks like first. We're here, and we're jumping to the box as we twist. Now the coaching point has to do with ground reaction force. So a lot of times I give a player this, and if I don't give enough direction, what they'll do is they'll jump and then flip their hips. And that's okay. I mean, they are creating rotation. It's all right. But they're not using the ground to rotate. What I'd rather see is this load, let the trail hip twist, so we load the lower body and then use the ground to create the rotation. So you've got this combination of rotation and vertical force, which is what you're going to see from the longest hitters. Just watch Justin Thomas, Rory, slow motion. You'll notice as they're coming through the ball, they're basically jumping because they're pushing into the ground so hard. So we want to make sure, again, we load into the lower body, creating that rotation from the ground up. And just like I'm doing, you can get your upper body involved. That can help you even work on sequencing. Here's what's cool about those exercises and why they're my favorites. They can be done by any golfer. It doesn't matter if they're the lowest level or the highest level. They can find benefit. Now, as you get older and you get stronger and you get faster, you're obviously going to throw the ball more. You're going to jump higher. That should happen. But you're never going to outgrow these exercises because they apply to the golf swing so well. But please, please remember the intention and the focus of the movement is as important, if not more important than anything else with that movement. So try them, put them in play. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. If you want me to take a look at you doing the exercise, give some feedback, feel free to shoot me an email. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. Really appreciate you all following along. Have a great day.